because that's who you are at your heart or at your core. It's just because your mind is, things are happening in your body that is causing your mind to think things that's not. Hello, welcome to this YouTube channel. This is the first video that I am uploading for the basically kind of like rebranding or revamp of this YouTube channel. My name is Lacey. I am a wife, mom, teacher. Before I jump into this topic, I also want to tell you that I can be found on other platforms. You can go and subscribe to my podcast channel so that you never miss an episode of Listen to the Moment podcast, where I pop in and share moments that I have with God throughout the month. And they are very small tidbits. So this will be the space where it is a little bit longer. So this is the space where I will go into depth about things, especially like when I'm like studying something or when I'm on here talking about something that's dealing with my life, and just using that to intertwine it with all the things that God has done and who he is and how he helps me through those things. So this will be the space where it's a little bit longer. You can find me on Instagram at Lace Park. And I am on Facebook under Lacey Parker, on and off. Right now, I'm taking a break from Facebook because sometimes that can be very overwhelming. So that's something that I'm not there right now. So let's jump in. So today I wanted to come into this space and share with you about my journey with postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety. Now, I do want to say before I get started that I am not a doctor or anyone who just has professional knowledge about these things, but I'm just coming to this space to share my experience with it, and to just, the purpose of this is to just share with you the things that I experienced, because maybe you may be experiencing these things and you don't know why. Or maybe you just need to know that you're not in this alone. So this is not going to be a space where I tell you how to fix your postpartum depression or fix your postpartum anxiety, because I am not trained or have the knowledge to do so. And I'm also, as we go through the video, I'm still kind of deciding on whether or not I even want to share with you how, what I'm doing, because I never want people to believe or think that what one person is doing is the best thing for them to do, because we're all different. We all are in different parts of the world. We all like deal with things differently. We are all, everybody's different. So I don't want anybody to think that just because I did it, that's what they should do. Okay. So let's jump back in. So as you're learning me, I am the mom of two precious little babies. I have a little boy who is 3 years old and a little girl who is 7 months old. And I have always been the type of person who, like, before I had kids, I would consider myself as a very strong-minded person, right? That I could get through and go through anything and be okay. Like, I will say, and this is a very transparent place, so I really want to be very honest, because I feel like you can't help people if you're not real and honest about the things that you deal with and how you deal with them. So before ever dealing with this, I was a person who would probably say, oh, I really pray for it, and I understand, or I try my best to understand, or have compassion, and think of people who deal with anxiety and depression. But that's something that I don't see myself ever going through. And I know that that's a very naive mindset to have, but we grow, right? So, and I just always felt like, I have a phenomenal relationship with God, and I pray and I read my Bible. And I just try my best to always, keep that line of communication open with me and God. So I would, if I ever did get into that space, I would be able to get out, right? That was what I thought. So, I had, strong faith, and all these things. Would even have people tell me like, girl, you have so much faith. Like, it's crazy faith. Like, that was who I was. And it's so amazing, because when you start to build a family, especially the woman, because we do all of the hard work. I'm not going to say that. I love you, dads. I really do. But we do a lot of work when it comes to building a family, and the creation of people, and the person in the womb of a mother is the most beautiful thing ever. And it is a lot of work. And I really believe that before you start to have children, you don't really realize what it does to your body as a whole, not just your physical body, but your spiritual body, right? I don't think we realize. And I was talking to my mom the other day, and I was talking to her, and I said, I really believe that one of the, like, if I could give a new mom any advice, I mean, I feel like this advice will be over any advice that you could possibly give to a new mom. It would be to pray for your mind. Pray, prep, and prepare your mind for motherhood, because the way that it hits your mind is unbelievable. Just so many things. And then like things that you have dealt with in your life that probably you were able to get through life and not really heal from and be okay, they will come up when it comes to motherhood and wreck you. Do you hear me? It will wreck you. So, I had to learn, or I realized that when motherhood came, there was a lot of other things that were coming that was just about to just be a mess. Okay. So that's where I was before. So when I had my first child, Christian, that was when this whole journey started for me. And it's so crazy because with him, it was something that I didn't quite identify or know that was happening to me. So we all know that, or every mother knows that when you go, when you're pregnant, you know, people always say, or you read or you research, and it says that if you ever have thoughts of harming yourself or the baby, to call a doctor, right? And that is great knowledge because, of course, in those incidents, when those things happen, or if they happen, you do need to contact somebody, right? But it hurts my heart that they don't educate you. Sorry, there was something right here. It kind of scared me. It hurts my heart that they don't educate you on the other things that you can experience after you've had a child in your postpartum time, okay? And you just don't have the knowledge of what could happen, or the feelings or the things that could happen that will fall under the category of postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety, which is something that I just learned about during my second pregnancy. Had no idea that it even exists, my first. So let's get into the things that happen, or the things that I used to do in my after my first pregnancy that fell under the realm of depression and anxiety that I didn't even know. So I'll start with one of the things that was like a physical thing. So I breastfed both of my babies, still breastfeeding my little girl right now. And with my son, my arms began to, got this on my arm today. Anyway, my arms locked up. Like I would have these pains in my arms to where I would not be able to stretch the arm out. Would not. Like it literally felt like somebody was stabbing me with a knife. And it happened for months, okay? I even went to the doctor one time and just like was telling my doctor about what was happening. And he was like, you know, they looked at my arm, they did a scan, they did an x-ray, they found nothing, right? So never got any information on what it could possibly be. Like eventually, like I just had to deal with it until it went away. So it wasn't until my second pregnancy, when I was educating myself, listening to podcasts, reading, that I heard the story of another mom on a podcast that I would listen to all the time, where the mom was sharing that she experienced the same exact thing that I experienced, and later found out that it had something to do with postpartum depression, that there was not anything physical happening to her, it was a mental thing. And that was like, it was almost like a revelation. Like I was like, oh my goodness, like how in the world did I experience that? I went to a doctor who was trained to, you know, find out what's happening on with the body, find out what's going on with the body. And, you know, it was just like, I don't see anything. That's it. And, you know, it was very sad that was the way that I found out. But I'm thankful for other moms who share their story, because that's how you become educated sometimes on what's going on with you, because you won't get that information from anywhere else sometimes. Sometimes you have to find it on your own. So that was the first thing. That arm thing I found out had something to do with depression. Okay. Clothing. So, oh my goodness. And I also found out that this is something that falls under that category from a podcast as well. I used to get so worked up about what my baby had on to go to sleep, right? So no matter the temperature in the house, I would always put my babies in long sleeve shirts. Like and it's so crazy because still to this day, I find myself doing this. I would, let's say it's time for bed, and when Christian, I just had my little boy, I would get him dressed for bed and we would put him in there. So let's say I have him on a long sleeve shirt and long sleeve pants, and it could be the temperature outside could be cool, right? So this is happening, and I'm saying, okay, so I put him in the bed, he goes to sleep, we're fine. So guys, it could be like 30 minutes later and I'm like, oh my God, what if he gets too hot? And then my mind would go to the extreme. And when I say extreme, I mean, what if like things that could not even, I'm not even sure if it could happen, but things that were just extreme. Like I'm thinking like, oh my God, what if he gets way too hot and he has like a heat stroke? This is what my mom would say. And it would freak me out to the point to where I would go in there and change his clothes while he was asleep. Or I would not put, like, let's say I put a short sleeve shirt and I'm like, oh my gosh, what if he's too cold? The cover's going to come off. He's going to be freezing. He's not going to sleep well. I would go in there and I would change his clothes while he's asleep. Guys, that is not healthy thinking. That's not okay. But in that moment, I was going through that and my husband used to be like, girl, what is wrong with you? But back then, I didn't realize what was happening. It was extreme thinking that was like stressing me out to where I would do things that were not really normal. Now, you might say, oh, that's normal. But then I learned after researching and things how there are things that are healthy. Everybody has thoughts, but it's about the actions that come behind the thoughts or how long you allow that thought to weigh on you that may cause you to do other things, right? So that was something that I used to do all the time. When my baby's going outside to play, like it could be warm outside, like 60 something. And even right now, guys, I would do this. I'm like, oh my goodness. It's too cold out there. He needs a hat on his head because I don't want him to get sick. And then he might get an ear infection. Then he might have pneumonia. Then he might get the flu. Like I just go all out. And now I know some moms are like, girl, I do that all the time. And sometimes other moms do this and it is something that does not stress them or that they dwell on constantly. That was not the case for me. It was a big deal. And like, I would even get upset if I did not, like if I wasn't home and somebody else got my kids ready for bed and they did not put them on an undershirt or they did not put them on the things that I felt like they needed to sleep with every single night. And it would be to the point to where I would get irritated with that person and really be upset. Like it was not healthy, not okay. Another thing that I would do would be not wanting my kids to go anywhere with anybody. And I mean people that I trust and love. Because I just would always have the thoughts that something bad would happen and that person would not be equipped to take care of my baby or do what I would do in that situation. Not that what I would do would be the right thing, but that was just what I would do. I wouldn't want anybody to drive my kids anywhere. I wouldn't want anybody. And it was extreme to the point to where I would really get upset, like leave them with somebody and get down the street and start bawling, crying because I was afraid that something was going to happen to my kids and I wasn't there to help or save them or whatever the case may be. And just always thinking the worst. And now, disclaimer, this could be very triggering for anyone. So if you are the type of person who may be triggered by something that's dealing with motherhood, I'm just going to say that you can skip this part for maybe the next 2 minutes or so, because I do not want to, just trigger something for someone. When I had my son, my brain would always think about him dying every single day. And it wasn't in a healthy way. It was like he's taking a bath and I'm looking at him and saying, oh my gosh, what if he dies tonight? Which would make me not want him to go to sleep or him to sleep in the room with me, or just to the point to where it was just obsessive, like to where it was like, no, excessive. Where it would be just way too much. And it was not healthy. It was not okay. And it would be just all the time. Like he would go outside to play and I would say, oh my goodness, like what if he goes outside and like they will go walk our neighborhood? And I would say, oh my God, what if he gets attacked by a dog and he's mauled and like I never see him again. And those were the things that would happen to me every day. And it would make me be so fearful. Like I would not want them to go anywhere, do anything, to where it was almost at the point to where I was neglecting the idea of letting my kids just live and be, have fun, go outside, do all these fun things, because I was in this chain, like I was in this little box that was making me just be afraid of all these things. So that was another thing. Then when I had my baby girl, some of these things rose up again. And then in this time, I was really able to see, some of the things that was going on that happened in my first pregnancy or after my first pregnancy that was happening now. And they fell under these things that were not, okay. So now we're going to move to my second pregnancy, because those were about all the things, and just really all of those things would lead to these little things that would make me cry and make me angry and make me just this horrible person. I feel like towards my husband, the people I love, like it was just crazy because of what I was dealing with emotionally and spiritually within myself after having a baby and not really knowing what was going on with my body or my mind. So then with my second pregnancy, I knew that I was dealing with some of these things. So then it would get to the point to where, and I will say with my first child, there was only one time where disclaimer, I did have a thought of like, oh my goodness, if this kid doesn't stop crying, I'm going to just like throw them. And well, I'm sorry. I don't want to cry, but that is an emotional thing. Oh goodness. As a mom, you never ever want to, oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry because this is real life, but as a mom, you never ever, you feel like you'll never ever think that. But a lot of things happen in the body and in the mind after you have a baby, and you have to know that that's happening. And you have to know that you're not the only mom that has had that thought, and it's not because that's who you are at your heart or at your core. It's just because your mind things are happening in your body that is causing your mind to think things that's not. But that has happened once with both children. But I'm so thankful for my husband because I remember in both spaces, I literally was like, babe, I need you to get up. Like it was in the middle of the night. I need you to get up and I need you to get her because I can't, I'm getting to the point to where I can't take it. And I'm so thankful because my husband would get up, he was like, you okay? He would help me get through it. And then it was over. And that only happened one time for both of my kids, but it's crazy because it did happen. But that was a little, but yeah, so that was something that has happened. So then with my daughter, a lot of other things happened that kind of applies to the same things that happened the first time that caused me to just be, all over the place. And a lot happened when I had my second daughter, when I had my second child. The combination of having him and her together also was very stressful. So I'm going through postpartum and I'm learning how to be a mom of two, which can be very stressful. So a lot of times it would be damaging just to my character and the things that I would say. And I would be really mean to my husband sometimes and it would just not be okay. And then I would need a break. And I know there's been times where I would just things are going crazy and I'm like, okay, I gotta step away. I would go in the lunchroom and just scream in a towel because I had to release everything that was in my body some kind of way. Now, some people may say, oh, I release this way, but I had to do just what I felt like I should do in that moment. And it helped and it got me through. So that was something that helped me. So I was able to just get through the moment with just doing that. That's what I had to do. So some other things that I felt like would arise would just be personal insecurities that I already had before having a kid became worse. Things that I dealt with, like perfectionism, just all these things, they got even worse. So that made my postpartum experience seem like it was just intensified. And it was just really crazy. And then just parenting styles and the way that you want to parent and what you want to do and how that is a lot. And guess what, guys? It's a lot on the mind, just sitting down to realize that you are about to be responsible for a kid or kids, and you will mold their life based on what you do in your home. Y'all, that is a big responsibility. Some people really act like having kids is just not a big deal. For me, that was not the case. It is a big deal because I am nurturing a person who will one day grow up, and even right now, they're interacting with other people. They are loving, not loving, whatever, everything that's happening in their little brains and that they're learning is coming from me right now, for the most part. And it's really important that we just take that as a big responsibility because it really is. So I am just learning throughout this journey that you really do have to give yourself grace, and you have to take a moment, and you have to realize that you are human, that yes, you are a mother and you do have a great responsibility, but you are also God's child too, right? Just how you love your kids so much. And that's something that I had to realize for myself, was that the love that I have for my babies and the things that was stressing me completely out about just being a parent to them, God felt that way about me, and he was taking care of me. So he's going to take care of my child and my children because he's taking care of me. And he knows that they are dear to me. He knows that they are a blessing to me and that I love them. And I want to do right by them according to him and what he has willed to be in their lives. Like, I want to be what I'm supposed to be. So that was important, a very important factor of me just coming to myself to say, okay, this is what we need to do. And I also want to take a moment to say that, guys, I am not completely healed in this journey of depression and anxiety. It is something that I am truly dealing with every single day. And it's something that I am so grateful for, the support system that I have in my life. Just realizing that, you need people there to help you. And depression is something that's really kind of dear to my heart because my dad is someone who has suffered with it for many, many years. And he has truly been someone who's helped me through everything that I've been kind of journeying through too as well. He's been a great person that has helped me. And my mom has been someone to encourage me and just be there and just listen to me. And most of all, my sweet, handsome husband has truly been more than I ever thought he could have been when it came to just me being a mom. You don't really realize, you don't know what you're going to experience in motherhood until you're in it. I feel like there's no way, no one can tell you what's going to happen. Nobody. Because your kids are going to be different. Your life is going to be different. You may be going through things that another mom did not go through when they had it. Like my mom, she shared with me that she was like, Lacey, I never had to, be mother to two kids that were toddler baby. Like my kids had enough time in between them that one of them was always in school, so her mothering journey was different than mine. And she was like, I didn't have a full-time job. I wasn't a full-time teacher, all those things that's something that I didn't experience. So sometimes it's not even words that somebody can tell you, like specific words to your situation, because it could be totally different. And that's what it was for me. It was totally different from people that were around me who they didn't go through what I was going through throughout their journey of motherhood. So it was something that they couldn't, it was something that they just couldn't help me through. So it's just, if I could give you any advice, pray for your mind, prep your mind, just get it ready for what's going to happen, because a lot is going to happen. And the one place it is going to take the greatest toll on is your mind. You think that it's going to be your body. And that's so crazy because everybody always, motherhood, it's going to take a toll on your body, girl. This is true. But I feel like it starts here. And it just, you can become dead to everything that gave you life, and it could just become something that just doesn't happen anymore. And that was also something that I forgot to say. So within my career as a teacher and just as who I am as a person, I became very, very unmotivated and not wanting to be who I feel like I'm called to be as a person, just who God has called me to be. No, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. As far as just like all I want to do, or all I have the energy to do is be a mom. That's what I felt like. Not that it was something that I was like, oh, I just hate it. No, but I felt like I could not give my mind or my body or anything else of me to anything else, because I was giving all that I could to motherhood, and it was stressing me out. Okay. But, I thank God, because God will take you through some things that will kind of help you to reset your mind. And I have gotten, right now, I'm in a place of just being just okay with where I am. If I'm having a bad day, it's okay. You're going to get through it. It's going to be okay. And realizing and knowing that these things are happening with yourself, with your body, with your mind, also is a good thing to help you to stay above it, because oh my gosh, okay, I'm having some crazy thoughts. Let's get out of this place. Or let me do something that's going to, reset everything for me. And that's something that I also had to learn how to do to kind of help me whenever I was getting in these places where they weren't healthy. And and then it was so crazy because you also have to be real in front of your children. I feel like it's very important. There have been times, and it's so crazy because the first time I did this, I felt horrible. But then I realized, I'm like, no, this is okay. Like, there have been times where I've gotten overwhelmed and I would cry in front of my baby, in front of my toddler, Christian, and he would comfort me. And I'm like, okay, God, thank you. Because showing him that it is okay to feel emotion and to be overwhelmed was important to me, because I never wanted him to feel like I was a perfect mom or that I was always just so happy. No, because that's not real life. And I also wanted to show him how to be there for someone. Like, you can be there for someone even if you're not old enough to. Now, of course, this shouldn't be in an unhealthy way. And I know that, circumstances are different for different people. And of course, no, a kid should never hold the weight of your world, because they're not capable of doing that. But being able to see that their mom or their dad is sad and being able to say it's okay or to give a kiss is healthy. Showing them how to be there for someone, in a moment of where everybody becomes overwhelmed. And then it was so amazing, because when he would be overwhelmed, I would say, it's okay, give him a hug, and different things, and show him how to work through emotions. So it's important that you do that in your motherhood journey. That's kind of just something I threw in there, not even really a part of all this. But yeah, so that is really about most of the things that I felt like I've dealt with. And if I'm forgetting something, and this is something that you all enjoyed, or just that you just got something from, please leave a comment below and just share with me your journey, or where you are, or how I can pray for you or be there for you. And I would love, love, love to just be a part of your journey with you. Just let you know that you're not alone, that somebody is there for you, praying for you, with you. And once again, this is not this is how you heal video. This is just me sharing my experience with you and letting you know that it is okay, and that you're going through something that somebody else has went through to a certain extent, and you can get through it. Just find someone, even if it's me. If you don't have anybody, reach out to me. And I'll leave all of my info in the description box down there, so that you can contact me through email or any of my social media platforms. And I really hope that this blesses you and is what you need in this moment, mama. You can do it. You can make it through. So a lot of you are going to be first time watchers here. So if you love this video, my spirit, my vibe, or just what I have to give to people, please subscribe and do everything that you could do. Subscribe, hit the bell, share this video on any of your social media platforms where you know a mom who is in need of just this word or this help. Please send this to them. And please excuse my demeanor. I am not all that beautiful right now, but it was just something that I needed to do, that I've been thinking about doing, and I wanted to do today. So please stay tuned for all the videos to come. Remember, lifestyle, motherhood, and teaching will be brought to you from this space right here, and it's going to be much longer than the podcast episodes. So please come to this space if you need something that's a little bit longer. Okay. So once again, I love y'all so much, and thank you for sharing this space with me. I hope that it is a blessing to you.